Shalom Uvracha. I want to share with you something very, very nice, a letter of the Rebbe. La'anot et hanefesh haba'amit is the title, to make the animal soul suffer. This is a letter the Rebbe wrote in Aleph Nisan Tavshin Tetzayin. Shalom Uvracha, במה שכתוב בהנהגתו, לא ישר בעיני כלל וכלל מה שמתענה עד חצות ביום שני וחמישי. The Rebbe said to him, it's not good, in other words, yashar means straight, but it's not good in his eyes at all that this person told him that he's fasting every Monday and Thursday. Kilo zohi derech haChassidut. This is not the way of the Chassidut. Betachat le'anot et haguf, and instead of making the body suffer, mortification of the body, tzarich la'anot et nefesh haba'amit. You should let the body, the animal soul suffer rather than the body suffer. Perush advarim, meaning lo ningoa bebriut haguf, not to touch, in other words, not to affect the body, the healthy of the body, al yedei he'eder, by lacking achila, eating and drinking, ushtia, anidrashot lebriut, which is necessary for one's health. And instead of this, change it around, and instead inui nefesh bahamit, and let the nefesh, the animal soul, have inui, suffering. Hainu beheder, in other words, lacking miluya ta'ava, lacking in the fulfillment of the desire and b'achila v'shtiya of the animal soul, eating and drinking of the animal soul that it desires. Again, which would probably mean eating in excess or drinking, unhealthy beverages or whatever. So that's something you should make the animal soul suffer by saying no to it. Diburei dvarim betelim, not to speak, narishkeit, not to speak nonsense. Dvarim betelim is more than that even. And certainly dibur shel avak lashon hara, not to speak avak lashon hara, which is borderline lashon hara, can become lashon hara. Or stam dibur asur, or not to speak something which is speech that is forbidden. And to fulfill lekayem mitzvat ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, to fulfill the mitzvah of love your fellow as yourself, afilu benogea leish kazed, even regarding someone shnidmelo, that it appears that does not show love to him. Or even someone who has caused you damage, you should show him ahavat Israel. You should show him love. That's how you can make the animal soul suffer, because the animal soul wants you to repay the person who's done you harm with hate. But if you give that person love, the person who's done you harm, that is going to cause the animal soul to suffer, and that is the correct thing to do, to give love. As the end of chapter 12 of Tanya, the Admor HaZaken, the Alter Rebbe explains there the importance of giving love. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to be in the vicinity, in proximity of the person who's going to cause you damage, because it continuously cause you damage, or to hurt your feelings or whatever. But it does mean that we have to show love. Anyways, getting back to the point, I was deviating. So again, do things that will make the animal soul suffer. Okay, which we said not to speak lashon hara, even though the animal soul wants you to speak lashon hara, and other things, slander and so forth. Okay. Okay, someone who hurts your honor, even him you should give him love and make the animal soul suffer. Okay, so if you want to bring about mortification, don't bring it upon your body, because you need to be healthy. But the Rebbe is stating to this person that he needs to make the animal soul suffer by the person not listening to the animal soul's desires. These ways of behaving, לפעמים is kaved yoter, it's more heavy, להביאם, more difficult to bring them בפועל, to bring them into actuality, מאשר ta'anit, to bring them befoal, to bring them into actuality, me'asher ta'anit me'achila shtiya, than fasting from eating and drinking. The above mentioned actions, not to speak lashon hara, slander, and to love your fellow, even someone who's hurt your feelings, hurt your honor, and so forth, that's again causing the animal soul to suffer, does not she'eino machlishim et habriut. All of these actions do not weaken one's health. Uvemela, and automatically and certainly hayicholet lilmod shiurim b'Torah, and the ability to study shiurim in the Torah, probably fixed times as well, lekayem, to fulfill mitzvot behidur, mitzvahs beautifully, with beautiful, right, mibli shevalbalu inyanei haguf, without it hurting bodily matters. And the Rebbe concluded here in the bracha, bivracha levaser tov, that he should have good tidings, relay good tidings, b'chol ha'amur, regarding all of the above, v'chein lebsura tova, also, b'nogea lepulat zugato, he says here, zakat ha'yahadut, b'nogea la'atzmam, strengthening Yiddishkeit, Judaism, he mentions the person's wife, that was this letter, but it's an incredible letter. It shows us the way of Chassidut and brings great light in. So someone wrote to the Rebbe, Tafshin Tet Zayin again, very, very emotional letter. And the Rebbe answered this person. Mema'aneh al michtavo Nivhalti lakasal kadatach shelo. I became, completely frightened. You could say is the connotation of this word. To the salka daitach, to the initial thought, this person who wrote to the Rebbe's thought, sherotzel atchil, he wants to start beseder ta'aniyot, start fasting. Mistamech al amur, in other words, Mondays and Thursdays fasting, and he is counting upon that which is stated in Igeret HaTshuva of the Alter Rebbe, Perek Gimel. Mistamech al amur b'Igeret HaTshuva l'Rabbeinu Zaken, Perek Gimel. Ele shemosif anal al anal, he wants to add to that, shebekocho la'asot ken gam b'yimei hakayitz, he also wants to fast during the summer days. Ve'i b'koli yishma, and if you will listen to my voice, my counsel, ari teichev lekabalat michtavi, immediately upon receiving my letter, said the Rebbe to him, states the Rebbe in this letter, he should nullify, abrogate this logical thoughts and decision. And if he's already done this thrice, fasted thrice, 3 times, Yoshiv Shlosha Mididav Yetiru, he should get a heter, a nullification of his, it should be abrogated, his vow, because he's done it 3 times already. Get 3 friends to do it. Okay. Ukvar milati amura, and my words has already been stated. B'makom acher, another place. Asher lo kedat toim, not like those who err, like make an error. Lomar, to say shemachmirim hem, that they are stringent hem al atzmam, upon themselves. Only for themselves will they be stringent to fast. They won't tell others, obviously, because they know it can hurt their heart. But for themselves, they are stringent to fast and do this again. Monday and Thursdays fasts, every Monday and Thursday. To the contrary, kulahi, it's a leniency. Kevan shalideze, because by means of this, mitbatlim mitorah. When a person fasts in his week, he is mevatel, he doesn't study Torah mitorah, v'avodah, and the divine service, as is expected from them. As Alter Rebbe testified regarding our generations, future generations as well, all these generations, it's forbidden for a person to take upon himself these fasts. And certainly there is no need for an additional explanation regarding this. We see clearly, sensibly, that the results from these fasts, even though not all the bodies are equal, ויש גוף שהתוצאה נראה בהקדם ויש שמתאחרת. Some people see the results of fasting so oft, later on, and some see it immediately. אבל הצד השווה שבהם, what is equal by all of them, שמונע במשך הזמן, that over time it will stop, it will cause a person to be held back with time from Torah and Avodah due to being unhealthy. And if he really wants to decrease his fats of his body and his extra fats, superfluous fats, it's not understood, though the Rebbe says parenthetically here in parentheses, that it's not understood why he has to do the opposite of the Baal Shem Tov's teachings and what the Baal Shem Tov taught. שבעצם מן המובן שבמה צריך לעשות הפך הוראת הבעל שם טוב שצריכה עבודה להיות באופן עזוב תעזוב עמו. The way we need to serve God with the animal soul is עזוב תעזוב עמו, is to serve God with the body. עזוב תעזוב עמו, with the body. Of course, the animal soul as well. We learn the Chassidut. We have to serve God. But here is talking about the body. We need to serve God, עזוב תעזוב עמו, as we've looked to the parsha recently. So, and if he still wants to do that, it's already known, the Rebbe Marash's Hora'ah teaching, and calling you can do a few fasts by Yichur HaDibur, Machshava, lateness of speech, of thoughts, as we looked into exactly what the Rebbe Marash states there. קשה יותר, it's more difficult לפעול תעניות אלו מאשר תענית כפשוטו. It's more difficult to make these effective, these fasts, rather than fasts, regular fasts. Okay, number 2, אין מזה ששביעת רצון, there's no satisfaction of the will, מהנהגת עצמו, כמו שלפעמים יש לשביעת רצון לעצמו בתענית פשוטו. If you do one of these other types of fasts, תענית דיבור, etc., a person doesn't have the same satisfaction. And the most important thing regarding all of the above, all those Jews who fear the word of God, in other words, are, Yirat Hashem, like Yirat Hashem, Charidim Dvar Hashem, all the Jewish people are in a situation of Shel Milchama Kaveda, with a heavy war, Neged HaChoshech, against the darkness, Kaful Mechupel, that's doubly and more than that dark, the obscurity, Shelagalut, of the Golus, of the being not in a state of redemption, the Ikvit Mashiach, of the footsteps of Mashiach. And obviously now we see that the Geulah is unfolding before us. The Rebbe did state that we are the last generation, goes to the first generation of the Geulah. And we see how all the Rabbanim today are saying this, that we are the generation of the Geulah. We are truly the generation of the Geulah. May we merit that, Bezrat Hashem, true peace and serenity, etati shalom ba'aretz. Let's carry on with the letter of the Rebbe. Uvifrat. Okay, again, the Rebbe is saying that all the Jewish people, Charidim Dvar Hashem, are God-fearing, the words of God, the word of God. Uvifrat. Shenish'arnu kol echad me'itanu, that every one of us has remained ke'udim mutzalim me'esh, as we know, the Jews who survived the war, the Jews who came, we know the Nazis, Yimach Shemam, even got to Africa. They got so far, and all these Jews who survived are udim mutzalim me'esh, Jews who survived from the fire, mamash, like v'aleinu la'asot she'erita pleita, we call them. And therefore, it's important for us to do even those matters, also those matters that was placed upon the kedoshim shenergu al kiddush Hashem yikoim domam. Also those matters that was placed upon, that they were responsible for, those kedoshim who were killed al kiddush Hashem, sanctified, al kiddush Hashem. difficult to translate Al Kiddush Hashem in English. We can translate it, but it's not going to be sufficient. What the Jews went through under the Nazis, Yimach Shemam. So again, we have to carry on the torch of all those, the things that the Kedoshim, the Jews who were killed by the Nazis, were responsible for. We have to carry on that torch. And every moment that is available, we need to utilize for this. To light up the darkness of the world, with the candle of a mitzvah and the Torah, the light of the Torah, with the luminescence, the inner luminescence of the Torah, Chasidut, which is the Chasidus, Torah Chasidut, the Chassidic teachings of the Torah, and we saw in actuality the success in this is greater if the body doesn't cause there to be confusion regarding this. The person is ra'ev, is hungry or thirsty, or atzev, or a person is sad because he is fasting. The rectification of a private person. Let's read this again. We don't know until what? How it is valued by the heavenly tribunal. In contrast, when it comes to the efforts bringing close the hearts of the Jewish people, Avinu Shebashamayim doing kiruv, with love, kiruv with love, ve'ahava with love. Sorry, simcha is joy, jubilance, ve'ahava with love. Ro'im perotem ba'olam hazeh. One sees the fruits of the labor in this world. Ukefidkam u'batinu v'tisenu hakadoshim, as is the aphorism of the Rebbeim, chazaka le'ta'amula she'eino chozeret reika. When a person makes a great effort, it does not return. One doesn't return empty-handed without results. Ukval katavti, and I've already written. Kameduma gamlo, as it also seems to him. She'en lanu lechapes. We mustn't search for mesilot v'orchot akalkalot. Ways that will ruin us. Ech la'alot beit Hashem. How to go up to the house of God. As since we have clear directives and direction that we've been taught by our Rebbes, a path that's plenty to go about it. Efshar, of room, lekol echod ve'echod. It's possible for every person, bnei Yisrael, from the Jewish people, ma'akatan shebaktanim, from the youngest at the gadol shebakdolim until the eldest. Lalechet gam b'chaye yom yomim, also to go in the day-to-day lives, v'lasot lo yitbarech, and to make for him dira batachtonim, a habitudes, as they say, a home for God in this lowest world, al yedei anhaga and olam asiyah, which are al yedei anhaga, by means of the behavior and following the bechol drachecha da'eu, knowing God in all our ways, all one's ways. Ve'i rotzoin, and the Rebbe stated, V'hi rotzen here in the letter, may it be the will, she'ezke, that I shall merit, shebemichtavo, achozer, with his next letter, this person who wrote to him, Yevasreni will relay good tidings, shebitel, svarato, that he's abrogated, he's nullified his logical thoughts and understandings. And amura b'atchalat michtav, it was stated in the beginning of the letter, V'roe pritov, and he sees good fruit, in other words, good results, bishtadluto, from his efforts, mitoch simcha, with joy, leha'ir chelko ba'olam, to illuminate, to light up his portion in the world, ba'adalet amot shelo, and the 4 cubits of his 4 cubits, gam kipshuto beveto, also simply in other words, concretely in his own home, to light up his home, by means of the body being healthy, gam kipshuto, also simply uvriuto bipnimiuto, and his health profoundly, shagam neshama bria, that the neshama should be healthy, and the Rebbe again stated, I'm waiting to good tidings.